Hello and welcome to the Chris Edworthy YouTube channel. I'm Chris and this is my Range Rover L322. And in today's video I wanted to give you a bit of a channel update and a bit of a update on where my Rolls-Royce Phantom is, and it's not here today. So stay to the end and I will let you know what's going on with my Rolls-Royce Phantom. Today I wanted to run you through my Range Rover L322 because it's now been just over 2 years since I've owned this car and I've had my second year service bill. Now when I bought this car I did have all of the engine oil, differential oil, gearbox oil changed, so I knew everything underneath the car had been done and we were running on fresh oil throughout. And I chose to stick to the manufacturer's service guide of about 16,000 miles or annual service, which a few people say, and I read comments in other videos saying that actually you should service these maybe more like 10,000 miles because I think the timing chain tensioners are lubricated with oil from the engine. If they get clogged up or the engine oil gets thicker as it gets older, they can deteriorate and it can cause a problem with the tension of the timing chain and of course an engine failure. I didn't worry about that. I just went with what my local garage said, who are a Land Rover specialist, and I went with the annual service because I'd done about 16,000 miles in my first year. I've actually covered 35,000 miles in this car now at a cost of about £9,000 in fuel, from what I can work out. But let's look at the cost of ownership for the 2 years that I've had this car. Remember, I bought it and about 4 weeks after, 3-4 weeks after, I put it in for that major service. I didn't have to do that because it did say it had a service, but I wanted to make sure for my own peace of mind it was all serviced and up together. So this isn't a necessity, but this is what I did. And that first service of all the differential oil, gearbox oil and engine oil was £1,572. So quite a large expense. In that first year I did have an additional bit of work done. I had creaking suspension from the front, which was the lower arms, and I had those changed and a couple of other little bushes under there, which cost about £440. I can't find the exact amount, but I seem to remember it being about £440. So in total, with my first service to get all the oils changed and then the additional work on the suspension, which wasn't too long after, I was just over the £2,000 mark for that. It then ran faultlessly until the annual service was due the next February. And I spent £1,525 on that, which was just a main service, some other ancillary bits and pieces that was required on the car, but everything just to keep it serviceable and up together. So that was last year. I've just come up for my third service effectively, from the very first one, and then end of year one, now end of year two. And I did that in February with its MOT. So it had a clean bill of health on its MOT. Once I'd replaced some suspension components at the rear, it had a leaking shock absorber and some rear arms that were needed. The front arms were obviously done last year or over a year ago, and now it requires the rear, so they were done as well. That was a cost, total cost including the servicing, of £1,199. With the first one at about £2,000 with the front suspension arms, £1,500 for the second one, that's £3,500, and then another £1,200 on the last one. We're at what, £4,700 for the 2 years of ownership. I think if you budget about £200 a month, you would be well within your budget on annual service on one of these cars. Now, tell me in the comments below if you think I've just been lucky, if you think these aren't reliable. Let me know if you've got one. I bought this with 96,000 miles on the clock. It's now done 131,000, coming up to 132,000 miles. So I have used it. It's been really good. It never fails to start. I've towed with it, as you've seen in other videos. I've towed another Range Rover with it, in fact. So 3.5 tons on the back, drove like a dream. Doesn't let me down. It's comfortable. People always remark at how well it's maintained its look and aesthetic inside. Nothing looks 13 years old and cracked. The seats aren't cracked, they're in good condition. I keep it clean and tidy on the inside, not as clean and tidy on the outside most of the time, but it's a Range Rover. But I just wanted to share with you my experience of ownership for 2 years and what it costs to run. And just to be clear, I am expecting another bill because in the 2 months since I've had it serviced and MOT'd, I've done a few more miles and I do have a slight creak from this side on the front suspension. So I think those lower arms that I had done 2 years ago are starting to wear out. And I know it is, I think it's the bushes in them that deteriorate. And that's probably where the little creaking noise is coming from. But you know, another 300 or 400 pounds on front suspension arms I'm anticipating in this year, but I'm not in a rush to do that, not right now. They are working. It's the occasional creak when you go over a bump or articulate the suspension a bit too much. Other than that, it seems absolutely fine. For those of you that watched this channel before, I will be doing a video on the update of the RAV4 to RollsRoyce Journey. The car has moved on. Last time you saw me with that, I was in a BMW 320 diesel estate. I have sold that, I have bought another car, and if you've watched some other videos you may know what that is, but I will keep that under wraps. For those that know, great. If you don't know, then stay tuned. I will be making a video on that shortly. Now, the question you've all been asking me is, where is the Rolls-Royce? Do I still have it? Have I sold it? Did it cost me a fortune? Has it gone to scrap? I do still have the Rolls-Royce. Did it cost a fortune? Well, it took some time to diagnose because I didn't take it to a Rolls-Royce main dealer. I took it to my friend Paul at Kiss Auto Centres in Brighton, him and his guys know their stuff. And they said to me, it's a camshaft sensor that is the problem. So I went to Rolls-Royce and said, can I have a quote for a camshaft sensor? There are 2 on each bank of the engine because it's a V. So I think there's an inlet and there's effectively an outlet for the exhaust side. Don't overly understand it myself, but there is one on top and one at the bottom basically of the engine. Someone in the comments below can surely explain better than I can as to what is going on there. But they told me at Kiss that all I needed was the exhaust side sensor. And sure enough, I got the part in, tiny little box, £112 the part, official Rolls-Royce part. It was fitted, and I had a bill from Kiss for £198, including the VAT for all the diagnostics and the fitting of the sensor. So for a little over £300, the Rolls-Royce is back on the road. Now it does need its annual service, it's overdue, but it has sat around for the last few months because I haven't been using it. I left it at Kiss whilst we diagnosed the problem. I wasn't overly in a rush because I was busy and I couldn't make videos for yourselves. So it sat for a few months, so it does need a service, and I do want to get that up to P&A Wood because I still want the main dealer to look after most of the bits and pieces. But this breakdown where it had to go somewhere on a low loader late at night, I took it to my friends at Kiss Auto Centres and they have looked after me marvellously. So she is back. I will be making a video on her, and that will be coming, I think, as the next video, or if not, the video after that. Either which way, we'll either do RAV4 to Rolls-Royce or Rolls-Royce next. Those are the next 2 videos I want to make for you. But I am still loving my Range Rover L322. If you're in the market for one, great time to buy. They're almost half the price of the amount I paid for this car. I paid £15,500 from a dealer just at the back end of COVID, which was a good deal at the time. I think they're sub £10,000 now. I know there are some specialists that maybe you're at £15,000 still for the same car as this. And with a warranty, maybe that's worth the money, peace of mind. But I think if you have the money to buy one of these and you can put a couple of £100 aside each month for maintenance, you are able to afford to run one of these. Now, my miles per year have gone down somewhat. I won't be doing 17,000 miles in it this year. I'll probably only do about 7 or 8. So it'll be interesting to see the cost of ownership. Now I'm doing less miles. I always think cars are better used than sat. So the more it sits and the less it's used, do the issues start to creep back in? Or actually, because I'm using it less, wear and tear items, it costs less. I know I've got that suspension item to fix and we'll get on that and we'll get that done in the next couple of months, but it is only occasional. So it's not an urgent repair. It didn't come up on the MOT, and it's only in the last week or so that that's come up, after doing a few thousand more miles. And I must say, I haven't had that properly diagnosed. I'm Mr. Mechanic myself has gone, that sounds like something I've had before. So I might be wrong. Anyhow, I wanted to update you with where I am with this, with RAV4 to Rolls-Royce and the Rolls-Royce herself. So I hope that gives you a little update, and I will be back on YouTube more regularly. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed this video, and I have more content to come where I'll actually be driving the cars too. So until next time, I'll see you soon.